Hey, what is up? I was not planning to actually make a video about Spider-Man, kind of a review kind of a thing or anything, because I figured with how much hype was behind the game and how many great reviews went out about it, like, you don't need to hear from me to confirm what everybody else says, which the game is awesome. At this moment right now, this is my game of the year. It beats God of War for me by far, mostly due to pacing. And this was not meant to be. I'm not gonna do like a comparison thing. Actually, now that I think about it, I could compare the differences between why, but I don't. I wasn't planning to talk about like why I like this more than God of War, other than just faster paced. That's it, really. God of War is an incredible game, but at the moment, right now, Spider-Man is my game of the year. And one of the funniest things is that I think about it is because to me it's funny because Spider-Man is not unique at all, right? It's something we've played over a bunch of times in other games. Very Batman Arkhamish, Sleeping Dogs, and other games like that I can't think of right off the top of my head. But the thing about it is, and something that I'm not surprised by, is how smooth it is, how much fun it is, how natural everything feels, and how rare to experience an issue while playing it. It's really smooth, and that's what sets it apart from other games that try to be like it, or other games that are cool games but not as fun to play, stuff like that. Just generally speaking, when a game runs smooth, you can tell, you can feel it, and you enjoy playing it, and that's what I love about Spider-Man. And it reminds me of Titanfall 1, where Titanfall 1 was not like, it's another first person shooter, right? Like, it's not unique. I added new stuff, new elements to it that were different from other shooters, but it's still a first person shooter, right? But what made it so good was that movement, was that natural, fluid movement. So when it comes to Spider-Man, like, when I heard that the developers of Sunset Overdrive were doing this game, I was like, that's going to be good. Because Sunset Overdrive is not a perfect game, but it is good, and it's fun, and it's smooth. So for the most part, Sunset Overdrive has really great controls, and especially the reason it's tricky is because there's a lot more movement. There's a lot more involved with the parkour movement in Sunset Overdrive than Spider-Man. And I think maybe they might have learned from Sunset Overdrive what to change in Spider-Man. I'm gonna move this here because it's driving me freaking crazy. But I think maybe because there was nothing wrong with Sunset Overdrive's controls or movement, stuff like that. But I think they kind of maybe looked at it and simplified it a little when they came into Spider-Man. Also, Spider-Man is a different game than Sunset Overdrive, so it makes more sense that the controls are different but similar. Like I could be reminded of Sunset Overdrive playing this game, but also know that this is a completely different game, right? So, anyways. That's pretty much it. Like, it is a great game. It's super cool. It's super fun. It's nothing that you have not played before. One thing that I did like about the story is decent. I call it good. Like, I thought it was a good story. I could even call it really good, but not because it's special. It was just good. It was really good. It wasn't like crap. It was good. I liked it a lot. I liked the story. I was very surprised with how many different villains were in the game. Like, I was like, wow, I was not expecting all these, So that was pretty cool. The boss fights themselves are not like, they're not over complicate, over complex. They're not, combat wise, it's not going to make you go like, wow, that was so different and unique or anything. But they're cool. They're normal, this kind of combat style brawler boss fights, and they were cool. They were very neat. Especially the first time is always harder than the second time, right? So usually the first time encountering a boss is pretty rough. I remember actually the one thing I will say is I've stopped. I haven't really played too much of this game in a while. It's been a while since I played. I've gone back. I've played the DLC, but I played it really hardcore when it first launched, and now I've very casually played at the moment. I still need to beat the DLC. Anyways, Mr. Negative, Mr. Negative. The first time you encounter Mr. Negative was very. I liked the scene. The scene was really cool. It was an epic scene the first time you fight that guy, but the actual combat, the fight itself, was terrible. It was just crap. But the scene was really cool, and that happens with a lot of games like this where they have these bosses, they make these big epic moments, and a bunch of people will complain about something like God of War where they have QuickTime events. But I liked specifically God of War's QuickTime events were different than the other games. I liked them. I like the way they do them. But it's also not when you get to that QuickTime event. It's after you've already fought the fight, right? So I don't usually get bothered by QuickTime events because it's a finisher. It's a finisher move. It's just a cool finishing kind of a thing. But anyways, most of the bosses were very cool fights. I liked them a lot, except for the first time encountering Mr. Negative. That was really just not good. I remember the whole time going like, really? Like, scene was just super cool scene, but the movement involved with it and the way you fought him was bleh. But anyways, so I rambled a bit there. But yeah, the game, it's your kind of a typical open world game, I guess. Definitely. One thing I like about it, it reminds me a little of Mafia 3, where they don't try to shove hundreds of hours of content into it. It's basically like Assassin's Creed Origins or Far Cry, where they put hundreds of missions in there just to waste your time, right? I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because especially if I hadn't reached the point where I am now, I'm kind of sick of that. Like, I'm sick of those open world games where I'm just doing the same mission over and over and all over the place. It's fun for the first time and the first few times you play those games, and you have something to do. Right, it gives you something to do, which is cool. But eventually, it will wear off on you, like it has me, and you get sick and tired of doing those stupid missions all over there. So Mafia 3 in this game, they're shorter versions of that, right? Like, you can be done with the game, even if you do everything. It's not going to take you 100+ hours. You're going to be done with it 40 to 60 hours, which is still cool. So, but yeah, so I love Spider-Man. I think it's a must-buy, personally. I think if you look at the game and you think this looks cool, get it. That's what I think. I think if you're already interested, and if you're not so interested, then no, wait for a sale, hang out, chill on it, But if it's something that you look at and you're like, man, I really want this game, then you don't need to wait. It's worth it. It's really good. All right. So thank you for watching. I will talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye bye.